With political tensions high since the adoption of a divisive new constitution, Togo's citizens began voting on Monday. Opponents say the constitutional reforms allows President Faure Gnassingbé to extend his family's decades-long grip on power. The ballot comes after lawmakers this month approved the reform, creating a new prime minister-style post. According to the new constitution adopted by lawmakers on April 19th, Togo's president becomes a mostly ceremonial role elected by parliament and not the people for a 4-year term. Togo's shift from a presidential to a parliamentary system means power now resides with the new president of the Council of Ministers, a sort of super prime minister who automatically will be the leader of the majority party in the new assembly. For Gnassingbé's ruling UNIR party, this makes Togo more representative, but opposition parties have mobilized supporters to vote against what they say is an institutional coup. Gnassingbé's Union for the Republic, or UNIR party, already dominates parliament. If the ruling party wins on Monday, Gnassingbé can assume that new post. In the streets of Lomé, people see this new reform as a way to prolong the reign of President Faure Gnassingbé and his family's decades-long grip on power. We're tired of seeing the same family in power, says Coleman Gatto, a building painter. He says if these elections are transparent, there will be a change. Not everyone holds this view. Gnassingbé can stay at the head of this country for as long as possible, says taxi driver Notsugan Coffee. I don't mind as long as we are comfortable, he says. Meanwhile, Togo's opposition party, the National Alliance for Change (ANC), who attempted organizing protests against the reforms, were blocked by authorities. Togo's Electoral Commission refused to allow the Togolese Bishops' Conference to deploy election observers across the country, according to a document seen by the AFP.
The Tongolese population is always in support of the opposition because we're tired of the way the government has been ruling the country. We always vote against them during elections. We all know they're always trying to rig the elections.
The electoral roll is wrong. The constituency boundaries are bad. We've said it's wrong and they made it worse.
Togo's High Authority for Audiovisual and Communications also temporarily suspended all accreditation for the foreign press to cover the elections. During a press conference in Lomé, the opposition called for the mobilization of Togolese against the regime of Faure Gnassingbé, who has been in power since 2005 following his father's nearly 38-year rule of the country. Gnassingbé succeeded his father Gnassingbé Ayadema, who ruled for almost 4 decades with himself following a coup in the small coastal West African state wedged between Benin and Ghana. Gnassingbé, 57, has already won 4 elections, all contested by the opposition as flawed. He would have only been able to run one more time as president in 2025 under the previous constitution. But after his father ruled Togo for nearly 4 decades before him, President Faure Gnassingbé, already in office himself since 2005, has been accused by critics of trying to extend the family's grip on power. AFP reports that early turnout as at Monday morning in the capital was scattered, but the streets were calm. Monday's vote will elect 113 lawmakers and also for the first time 179 regional deputies from the country's 5 districts who, along with municipal councillors, will elect a new created Senate. In Togo, lawmakers are expected for a 5-year term. The last legislative elections were in 2018, and Gnassingbé said at the end of 2022 that they will be held the following year. but he has postponed the vote several times. The regional elections are the first in Togo, which is divided into 5 regions. They will make it possible to elect 179 regional councillors who will then be responsible together with municipal councillors for electing senators. Parliament currently is dominated by Gnassambe's UNIR party. With a population of nearly 9 million, Togo's economy is mainly agrarian, though Lomé has one of the busiest deep-sea ports in West Africa, helping the country weather the fallout of the Ukraine war and the pandemic. The government has focused on developing infrastructure and expanding access to electricity, but poverty levels are still around 40% according to the World Bank. Like its Gulf of Guinea neighbors, Togo faces a growing risk of spillover from the jihadist conflicts to its north in the Sahel. Results from the ballot are expected to be released within 6 days.